deception and all of this stuff, hey man, it would break anybody. And it don't have no effect on us. And then to raid your accounts, I ain't gonna go by how many times they raid their accounts and they do this and they do that. They just do whatever they want to do. Okay, we say congratulations. And they wonder, how can you keep an attitude like that? Because when they do something, they're looking at you to see how mad you're going to get or how disappointed you're going to get, you know. I said, no, ain't nobody mad, ain't nobody disappointed. Because see, this is a long story. When we say that the government influenced us to start selling drugs, is because in Oakland in 1966, the government, the FBI, could see which way everything is going. So you're lightweight black nationalist type, you're Nation of Islam, but not going to, you know, no bow tie and all that, but you know. And this is all new, and we got everybody going to lift weights together. Just young guys, 20 years old, early 20s, late teens. It's wonderful. The government didn't look at it like that. First of all, this black Muslim stuff teaches that the white man is da-da-da-da, and they didn't like that. The next thing is that you're friendly with everybody and you're doing constructive stuff. This is the first time blacks are getting together. We're not drinking. We're just lifting weights and hanging out and having a good time and going to work and stuff like that. So this is when they influenced to sell drugs. They're the ones that did it. I know the two friends that did it, and a year and a half ago when I mentioned their initials, you know, GC and JL, they popped up the next day. I said, yeah, it was right.
You had your favorite movie on last night on Balance.
Which one was that?
The Mac.
The Mac?
Max Julian.
Max Julian. You could see what that was. That was to get people back into the macking and pimping game because they had made a mistake on Superfly TNT. Superfly TNT, you know, goes to Africa and all that. I'm saying that, and the Mac is in Oakland, you know, that's Oakland. All the people in there that you see in the background and the clubs, those are all friends of mine. You know.
They mentioned Ted Ward and Frank Ward.
Frank Ward, they was the Pimp's Mac of the Year, and it was dedicated to Frank Ward.
Right.
The ones that won the Mac of the Year was Ted Ward and Willie Ward. Willie Ward is the same one. He's still alive now. In fact, not to stray from this, I was getting ready to drop off something to a friend of mine because in those days we had the biggest, we was big and bad and everybody. When they looked up, there we was, and knocked the whole thing. It was unbelievable. That never happened before. People that young, see, all them are old. They're older. Their generation ahead, all Frank Ward, Ted Ward, them, even Willie Ward. I was talking to him when I was 68. He said, yeah, Hank. I said, can you see me, man, thick as them glasses are? He said, yeah, I'm 75 now. I said, 75. That's when I realized he's the youngest. And he was 7 years older than I was.
You were the youngest?
I was a youngster, and all the people in that was older than I was. That's why they can't understand what happened. But the point is this. I wanted to drop off a little something because in the heyday, we had the car down by the California Hotel. And, you know, snort and blow and all that. So I leaned back to my homeboy. He's in the back seat. Willie Ward got one of his homeboys, probably Zada King or one of them. And I was with my other homeboy. It was either Doc or Mike. I said, you got another one of them things? Another package of blow, you know. And we had tons of it. So Willie Ward said something to me that it was a lifesaver. He said, you keep that up, you won't be captain of the ship. I didn't say a word. The next day, I was in the hills, lifting iron. When I came to the nightclub, I had on a tight t-shirt. You know what I mean? It saved the life. I locked up all the cocaine, all partying, and I put everybody on that regime, but they wouldn't follow it hardly. I go by their house at 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning. You remember the Cadillacs in those days they had air ride and it was when they was let down. And then I'd feel the hood of them Negroes' car, they'd be burning up. They just got home. So they know they were going to be getting up, 6 or 7 o'clock in the morning burning the hills. You know, they just couldn't do it. They refused. I mean, they didn't refuse, but you just couldn't beat on the door. They wouldn't answer the door, nothing. The point was that till they snatched that money, but I'm gonna get some money. I hope he continues to be all right. Because that was a lifesaver. He don't even remember. I told him about it. He didn't even remember. I said, man, that was big. I said, because see, everybody else would go through that same thing. They would work hard, they would get big and bigger, then they start partying. When you look around, that's why somebody getting paid $10 million a year, you can't imagine how he turned out broke. Well, if you party and you got an entourage that's partying along with you till you go broke, that money can go out the window. You won't know where it went.
Right.
And that's the way I was getting ready to go, because I was full of discipline all the time, and I had about 2-month period we was partying. And if we wouldn't have stopped at that time, 2 more months of that, we'd have been in bad shape. We'd have been like other niggas, living to keep up, And so anyway, on the thing of debt and wealth, we should always save us some cash money. Now, white folks say save 10% of your money. I don't believe that. I believe you ought to save 50% of it. Till you get big, real big. Then you can live and it don't, like, for instance, if you remember, my family not only lived upstairs at the little Masjid, but when we came over here, they lived right there in that, in the office back there. So it was Sakina, it was my granddaughter, and the wife. All of us was right back there upstairs. That's 11 by 18. They didn't like it. But when we needed to buy this place and that place, we bought them cash money. When we needed to buy the place down there, where we live now, didn't nobody want it. I remember what's the name looked at that. I think his wife looked at it. This is ugh.
eyesore.
It was a real eyesore. But I was going to offer them $20,000 for it. So they said, well, we can take 15 for it, and if we throw in a lot next to it, it'll be 20,000. So you got a deal right there. Shoot, I buy a Brooklyn Bridge for $5,000. You can't lose, even if you get a pillow. So 20,000, another 15,000, fix it up. You do most of the work. Now it's worth something, and it's really comfortable. See, and I try to tell them, I said, do you know why it's so comfortable living in this house? Because it's ours. So suppose you lived in a house that you paid $2,000, $3,000, which people pay that nowadays, right? I say if you have to pay $3,000 a month rent, that means that's $100 a day. It's like staying in a hotel. You couldn't rest. Like when I stay in a hotel, I love them because they had a big programs there and I'm there for nothing. But when I go to California this will be the first time I'm going to stop and stay in hotels. I'm going to drive for 1,000 miles and then stay in a motel. Because I'd be right there this winter. I'd roll the thing back and sleep in the car. You know what I mean? Doggone there, freeze to death and stuff. And I liked it. I still like it. But at 72, I'll be 72 next year, early next year. Hey, man, after a while, you know, I'm going to stretch out and stay in a little cheap motel. Stretch out, have my iron in the car, or my pulleys, and work out. And, you know, soak in a big bathtub and all that stuff, you know, why not? And then get back on the road. Okay, we was able to do the stuff we do now because we saved and saved and saved. You know, I don't want to get back to the Negroes out there, but we bought all of this property on our own. We only got one loan from some friends of ours. And it wasn't no earth-shaking loan. All the rest of it, we had to hustle. We'd have to have our fundraisers. And we wouldn't be raising a whole lot because remember, the people wouldn't, you know, they would come by and eat, but they wasn't putting a whole lot of money in there. Now, Brother Mahmoud hooked us up a little bit. That was a big help. That's why when certain people were in need, we just emptied our account because when they was rolling, in fact, we had one account set aside for them because we saw how things was going, and that's just normal. But the point is that 70% or 80% of the arguments people have at home are about money. That's what I heard. Okay. Families break up when it's not money. Families that get along very well like that. You know, it makes people feel uncomfortable. And I tell my kids, I say, you know why I don't get mad when y'all ask for one of the new super phones and all that? I said, because I have access to a little money. And y'all want a new one when the new one come out and, oh, they got a new space, touch tone, this or that, and they want that. I said, see, now, you know, in the old days when parents was broke, they would pop their kids upside the head for asking for stuff. I said, there's no problem. I said, don't even get on my nerves. I said, because we're not broke. I say, if we was broke, the response would be, don't you see how hard Daddy's working? And you want a damn, whatchamacallit, right? I mean, money helps things go better. There's another reality, the old saying, the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. What we're trying to do, we're bucking all odds, social odds, political odds, economic odds. What we're doing is, it definitely never been done before. And kind of when we move toward not the end of our mission, but as we progress, we don't want to take the turns that other people turn. Okay? That's why if you handle wealth properly, Wealth is a big advantage. And the dirty rule is the same. Poor get poorer. They do. They just do. The rich get richer because whatever system is adopted, the people that's got a little something going to do what? Adjust the system to them. And they're going to get more. That's the way it is. Even if you start off even, the people that don't manage too well, the guys that manage well, they get a loan from them. Pretty soon they're loaning around like that. And pretty soon the money's coming their way. Pretty soon they're going to adjust it with the sheriff or whoever's in town that it's going to kind of go this way. That's why in every town, in the old days, they had a big man in town. Or maybe two at most, sometimes three, but it was a big man. Why was he the big man? Or like Big Valley and all that. Remember those? They had the Big Valley, and they knew the sheriff, Bonanza and them. They could, cause they big, and everything gonna come their way. If somebody start going broke, they gonna come to them. Well, can you loan me this? I'll put my farm up. Well, 50% of the time you're gonna lose the farm, and you got it for little or nothing. Pretty soon, whatever system is going, you're gonna shade the system. So the county taxes, the this, that, and the other gonna work toward what's good for you. Pretty soon, you run that town. That's true whether you're a company. You remember it used to have a lot of companies, this company. Every little town in the old days had a newspaper. And the newspaper was not controlled by a national, it was a little regional man, and he had his ideas, and if he was a Republican, he would lean the Royal Republican. If he was a Jacobite or whoever, it went that way. Whoever, so you got some real news. But when you got the Murdochs and the other people owning the media, you're going to get in there what they want you to get. So it's a concentration of wealth. Same thing communists is against. Concentration of wealth, concentration of resources. This is true. Now we're breaking all the rules. We break every rule they got. Number one, you can't stand up against a system for too long. But here we do, we stand up over and over. It's been 35 years. And we keep, I mean, with all the things that break any organization, we just keep rolling along like ain't nothing going on, you know. Why? It's a blessing from Allah. It's because with the 1% that we have charge of course it's not even 1%, Allah's in charge of the destiny of all of us. But Allah gives you enough that you're going to earn your place in paradise or hell. So you have some choices. Out of all the choices that we made, we're making it toward Islam and independence. That's why everybody in the country is against us. And it's always been like that. When I talk about a meeting in '88 and all that, it was all the same thing. Everybody was on one, it's just like over there. Everybody is on that team. And we're over here. And none of them are making any sense, ever. You know, none of them ever do anything that's good for Islam or take advantage of the opportunities that Islam presents. No, they take an opportunity to integrate into the system. And the system says, we don't like those niggas. Therefore, they don't like you.
Today on C-SPAN, they had a lady who was talking, she was from Britain. And they were talking about all the immigrants coming in
Right.
The Muslims, basically. That's what you're talking about. The Muslims. This is a big deal.
Right.
The Muslims coming in these countries. So they said, well, they said, we don't have a problem with religion. We don't have a problem with this, that, and the other. But now you have to understand that there's the common ground. That's their system, the common ground. And so you can have your religion, you can have this, you can have that, but the bottom line is the common ground for everyone, which is inviting you to their system. And so that's what they're doing here, the common ground. You know, like it ain't got nothing to do with Islam. It's got to do with what are we going to get. It's almost like, not to keep it, the hadiths. They talk about the person that migrated, and the law say, why did you migrate? I did it in the cause of Allah, this, that, and other. He said, no, you're lying. You know, you did it because of so and so and so. Well, that's exactly how they're acting. Right. They're technically Muslims, but their behavior has nothing to do with Islam. It has to do with individualism and dependence. And so they figure America's the one that got it going. They're going to jump in line with that stuff.
They have jumped in line, and they've jumped on the wrong boat. That's all. The wrong boat at the wrong time. At that transition period, sometimes it seems like you're alone unless you do research and you find there are millions and millions of people today. I was listening to what was that? It was several groups they named, but I just remembered one. It was something about the universal something or other to, let's see what it was. In other words, there was some white folks talking about a world peace and all of that type of thing. A lot of people are universal spiritual foundation for our common home, which is the earth. You know, universal spiritual. They like the other white folks, you know, something Winston Churchill said. He said you can count on Americans making the right decision after they've exhausted all their other, after they've exhausted every other, you know,
Option.
That's right, that's it. After they've exhausted every other option, you can count on them to make it. So that's the way Europeans are. They're realizing that they problem, since they have so much, is that it's the spiritual essence. They were tricked. And there's a lot of good white people, man. Not to say white people, but it's a lot of good people. We're gonna be needed because when this boy start busting heads big time, they're gonna need somebody that's used to getting their head busted and can stand it and all the other stuff, because they're not built for it. When I was moving from McNeil Island to Leavenworth, I was traveling with a yogi guy. He was a nice white boy, you know, did yoga and all of that. And he was conscious, you know. So when we got to a place called La Tuna, that's right near El Paso, we was kind of not in the hole, but we was in a block where we were in transit. They had one white boy that was big during the rebellion that was in there. He was in the hole, and so he was telling me, yeah, I talked to so-and-so. And he's very disappointed. And he said, you do all of that work, and they go to beat your head up against the wall, and they hire some idiot for so much an hour, and he comes and plasters it over it, and that's it. In other words, the rebellion, the SDS, Students for a Democratic Society, one of those guys, you know, they put their life on the line. But the long range, hard, difficult stuff is gonna take a different type of people that don't, you can't look at this and say, we're gonna have a new society in 6 months or 5 years. You know, that's why revolutions, changeovers fail, because people have high expectations. And you can't fulfill those. Those people, there have to be a group of people that say, slow down, take it easy. We're gonna have a 15-year period of just recovery. Well, we ain't trying to consume nothing or produce nothing. We're giving ourselves and the earth time to recover. You know, that type of thing, okay? So, our mission, and I'll finish up in a minute, forget what we was gonna talk about here, I mean, it's all laid out. But it's kind of what we was thinking about anyway. See, there's a great mission. And the other Muslims and conscious people are not analyzing properly to see, what is our mission? What should I? It's like what we said decades ago, is they have an outcome called desired outcome. So when they do their analysis, they have already typed in what they want the outcome to be. We want to be integrated into America. And everybody, even Islam did it last go around. Remember over there? How they integrate into America without losing your Islam. Something that was in Baltimore.
Yeah,
This is insanity. And they all, you notice over there, they all talk, we have to consult the African Americans. Well, you consult the African Americans and they'll tell you the biggest mistake we made was integration. We lost our neighborhood power, our neighborhood stores, our neighborhood everything, and you separated the people in classes. Before, the black bourgeoisie lived right along with us.
Right.
And you could see the doctor down the street, and all of our heroes was local heroes. We didn't have a news, because the heroes came out of the black newspaper. And in every city, big city, we had a black newspaper. They can't, you know, I don't think there's over 4 or 5 black newspapers in the United States. The Baltimore or something that is still around, but they almost have to give it away. Right? So the point is this. We're in that great transition period. But when we go back to Oakland, we already got, when we talk about the As-Sabiqun liberation movement, we're serious about it. That we have to, and we are, because when I say we have to, it may sound like, well, we're going to start doing this. We're always in the process of doing or have done. We've already proved that what we're talking about continuing in California here and around the nation, we've already done it. We've already proved that, hey, you can fight Sam and he can throw everything at you and you can still jump up and keep right on going, and with a good attitude, with a Jesus attitude. That ain't never happened before. And especially when they go out of their way to show you that everybody is against you. That's why out there, that ain't new. It's everywhere. I don't care who you, think about our allies. What's their point? We ain't even calling you on the phone. And we'll pull a 33-year-old something or other out of the basket and put that on there as revolutionary, other than putting in the paper or the magazine when you're dealing with everything today. And they're trying hard, trying to divert their whole community against a given. When we talk about the Shia community, because of the certain environmental circumstances, have inherited the mountain. But they got to be trained to deal with this. They can't come rolling out with that stuff they be running around here with and the brothers be talking about. You gotta know what you're doing. If you're gonna lead everybody, you know what I mean? You gotta know how to talk to everybody. You can't come with that stuff from 14, 1200 years ago, and this is what happened, and hey man, how's that gonna help? First of all, I tell brothers, I said, I wasn't there. I was not there, I didn't have nothing to do with it. I didn't have nothing to do with that. You know, so don't come around. So, we're not only have to put a check on the European mentality, but we got to help the Muslims too, and our friends, the Muslims. Because after every revolution, the people go bad. They begin to think, you know why they put that in the newspaper down there about Vilayat Faqih is a safeguard for global fitna? That's what, to let all their friends know where I'm coming from. Because all of them is against Vilayat Faqih. And they put it in that's a political newspaper, it's the biggest political newspaper. They didn't put it there to help me, although it did, because that's what I want everybody to know. And I tell them, I was with some big shots not long ago. See, I don't hear nothing about Vilayat Faqih anymore. At the conferences or nothing. That's what everybody was. Imam Khomeini was the wilayah. The Rakba is the wilayah. That is the safeguard. Okay? So, they come out just like those people come out over there. They come out the same way. They come out exactly the same way, and they want to let you know, not that I have been knowing for over a decade. I smelled it. No, I forecasted it. Technically, I said after 10 years of the revolution, they're going to start doing this. Why? Africa, the rebellion here, spending time in Europe, looking at the movements. That wasn't happenstance. When Allah gonna put you in a fight, He give you the training, so you get the FBI to try to set me up way more time than Imam Luqman. But Imam Luqman took the little bait, just come over to the warehouse. You know what I mean? I ain't going to no warehouse. Well, we got a great deal for you. I don't want it. Thank you very much. I don't want that. And see, these dirty Europeans, they got our movement under one umbrella. I used to say that abdul-alim